Hey guys, today we're gonna do some hand-painted shovel textures, going step by step with all the workflow and so on. Let's go. This is the model I made and it's super simple, so we are not going to do the modeling process in this video, but I will share with you the screenshot with the side and front view of the model, so you can make something very similar. And here you can see the UV map I made. It's also just pretty simple and just the standard one. So just try to make something like this one. Here we have our color scheme. I added all the colors that we're gonna use for all the steps of painting. So we have here our base colors, blending colors, detail colors, and a little bit more of gradients and ambience. So yeah, let's use all of this. You can find this color scheme file in the video description. And now let's get to the painting process. So I will select the fill tool and gonna paint our base colors, selecting from the color scheme file. So yeah, something like this. It's our base colors. Let's make some simple ambient occlusion. And let's set up it to 50%, and I currently will turn it off so we can normally paint and nothing will disturb us. I will be painting on the 85% opacity and we'll choose some semi-hard, semi-soft brush. And now we can do the color blending. I will also select the colors that I have in my file. So we'll be painting the lighter ones where the light hits the surface. So imagine the lighting that is shining at your object, and some side ones, and the ones that not that seen will be the darker color. We also will be using like different colors for our metal, not quite going straight with one. So something more warm for our shadows and darker ones, and some cold one for our lighter ones, and where the lighting hits the reflections and so on. And just blending, blending and blending. This will be the most of the process for the details that we are going to do for our texture. It's like adding colors and we'll blend them together, getting some nice metal details, some wood details, and so on. And now I will be like picking the color, pressing V, and pick and mix the colors together. The darker one with the lighter one, and trying to get some nice metal details, like it's some scratches and something like used metal. And not going too crazy with the light details because it's not the highlights yet, it's just the texture details. So yeah, just press V, pick the color, mix the color, and that's all what I do. trying to get some nice details and light info of our metal. And where you're like used to this kind of workflow, you can do some simple models very fast, like the textures for it. Sometimes it's even faster than do the sculpting, baking and so on. So normally I painted this shovel, I think like hour and half or something like that, and the modeling process there will be very fast. So the whole model of the pipeline took to me like 2 hours or something like this. And the main part of the metal of the shovel is almost done. And we already have some nicely done details. Let's paint some darker ones on the upper side of this detail. So it will give us some depth for this part of metal. And some shiny ones in the middle. Yeah, already looks pretty cool. Let's polish a little bit here to get some more damaged metal. Fix this little stuff. Just some small polishing here and there. And we are good to go. And we will do same stuff with the upper metal, just adding some darker colors on the sides and the back, and on the lower parts a little bit on the upper part for gradient, so it's not flat. And then we will start adding these lighter details for our lights that hit the surface, and going to mix them together as we done on the lower part. Just same process, trying to get these metal details. Picking color, blending color, that's all the process I do for that kind of style. There's actually many workflows I'm using, but for now we're gonna paint like this one. And you also can like paint with different brushes, not only with this semi-soft one, so feel free to use softer ones or harder one if you feel it's like better for you. Okay, now time for wood. So we are adding also these lighter colors on the wood, on the upper part, and on some side parts for these gradients, and some interesting color on the lower part. That's we're gonna do for all the wood. Not going to focus a lot on this model backside. And now we gonna blend those colors together. Oops, not yet. I will continue this lighter colors and darker colors on the object, so it will go normally under the close material, not like ending near it. So it will look more like one wood stick. And blending some colors, getting wood details. As you can see, we blend it a little bit like other way, not like for metals, more like from up to down. Get some more wooden like details. And mix the colors. I also speeded up this video for like 30% or something, so it will not take forever for you to watch it, and I hope it's not too boring. So yeah, a lot of painting, a lot of blending colors, but I actually find it pretty fun. For me it's something like relaxing process. One of the types of meditation. And we will do similar for the handle. And here we blend those colors for some side gradient stuff. I was trying to make like many different colors, like at least 3 colors or 4 colors for one material. Don't try to use only like stay in one color. Just try to add some reflections and information from lights and so on, so it will look more interesting. We're doing the same stuff with our other side of handle. Yeah, already looks like a wood. I'm also painting everything on one layer, but you can separate it on maybe like some different layers if you feel more comfortable like this, because for me it's like easy to paint on only one layer without any saves. But you can separate like maybe some lighter wood details, darker wood details, so you can return to this part and like try to paint it, adjust and so on. And also you can put this lower color details also on separate layer, but I feel pretty comfortable and work for cover bindings just on one layer and bind them together. Now let's paint the fabric handle here. We'll do the similar blending process with adding darker colors, lighting colors, and binding them together, making details of some kind of fabric clothes material here, and try to make it not look like a meat. So it's not a kebab, it's a handle. Mixing the colors, mixing. I always love to zoom out to see what I have painted. Can you see all the details that you paint? It's a habit from the game dev, so because I'm using all these models for game development purposes, so I need to be sure that you see the details from zoom out. Awesome, because sometimes you can paint a lot of smaller super pixelated polishing, but actually no one will see it except you when you are like zooming those details. And now I will choose some softer brush and we'll do a little bit of dark lines here. Normally we will do also line art on separate layer, but for clothes I decided to go on this color blending. So it will be a softer one lines, not the hard ones. But if you want, you can try the hard brush too. So I'm adding a little bit of depth. And now it's time for the line art. We created a new layer called it's a line art, and we'll add some darker details on it, like stretches, some dark stuff, some damage maybe, and the wooden details will be here too. So it's just darker details of the damage and texture details. Adding some wood, this detail, so it's gonna look like a wood. Not always you can paint it like from the first attempt. Sometimes you need many of them to get the nice lines. And we will do similar line art for the handle. And on the side of handle you have this wooden detail, like on some kind end of wood. Like if you slide the wood, you'll see this kind of structure there. and it's pretty stylized, like simplified version of realistic one with some my personal shapes that I like to paint. Yep, I like it. And I also go for eraser tool and adjust everything so they look more polished and it's a better shapes. Not always you can paint like these shapes super correctly, so need to adjust it. I use a lot of eraser too for that kind of stuff, like starting painting with bigger lines and then adjust them with eraser tool. And I also didn't like that they were too dark, so I decreased the darkness also using the eraser tool. And now it's time for the highlights. It's one of the last processes we're gonna do. Painting the highlights, it's our shiny details. It will make our metal like reflect the shyness. And I control my brush lines with the pen, so I push it more to get them these shiny, more shiny ones. It's all about opacity of your pen. And you want to paint them on the edges of your metal, maybe not everywhere, and less visible on the darker areas. And I also don't like to leave them like the shapes like very sharp. I try to blend them a little bit with the surface and make them less sharp. And you always can pick the color from the file I created. There's all the colors you need for this shovel model. So basically it's like, you know, if you're baking, it's our curvature map. But we're gonna paint it with the hands and making the shiny parts. And yeah, you can continue here like some shiny effect for the metal, not like only sidelines. And some damage will have also the highlights. But trying to like paint not many of those, not for every damage we painted, so it will look super noisy that way. Only where I feel it will cool and where it needs like not every small damage part need these highlights when you're doing a stylized. Some stylized model, hand painted one. And we will do similar for upper metal, making this part shiny in the middle and less shiny on the darker areas. It already looks super cool. Not spending a lot of time on the back of the shovel. And we will do similar for wood, but wood isn't a shiny one, so be careful with it. Just making some highlights for the details of our wood form and trying to keep it look wooden. And I decided that this one, like highlight in the middle, being like too much sharp to sharp, so I continued it to all the wood and make some texture there. So it not that sharp like on the metal, you know, not just lines, but some kind structure. And we're gonna do similar process for the wooden handles here. Making some highlights on it, not shiny one, but that will help us to look like a wood. Painting those lines where I see my color blendings, like different colors goes from lighter to darker. I paint some highlights too and make them not sharp for the wood. So yeah, now it looks more like wood. And we're gonna paint also the highlights for our ghost material. I will do this with more softer brush. Just getting some lighter parts here. I just decided to try this time more soft brush for the ghost. Been very interesting how it turns out and looks kinda cool. Normally in past I use it mostly like for highlights, the harder brushes, but seems like it works too. You always learn new stuffs. Even after you're painted thousands of models, there's always space for learning. And let's fill these details here with some bolts or something that handle your wood stick there with the metal. And same on the upper part, it's also some detail here with the highlights and everything for it. And a little bit more lighter parts here. Ta-da! Now I will add some painted ambient occlusion, because the bakes never will give you the effect that you want, so you need to paint a little bit on some parts where you feel that it needs to be there for better looking, for more depth effect. And so I will paint it when the wood connects the metal on some metal parts. I will do this with some soft brush, and all the colors you can pick from the file of our color scheme. I will do this also on the handles. Then I will go for a razor tool and adjust it a little bit. I really like how it looks now. Turned it out pretty cool. There we go. Now we're gonna add some color details on our metal and wood and all the shovel. So it's some kind earth, dirt stuff here. Maybe it's a rust, but I've been thinking of like some dirt stuff here, like it's been used as it's supposed to. But I also want to add it on the upper metal. I think it looks cool, maybe not so logical, but I just want to make it look cool. Maybe it's rust, who knows. It just looks cool, but I've been thinking about the earth at first. And we will add additional color for the wood to something greenish. Maybe some reddish stuff can work too, but I decided to add some greenish stuff because we already have some reddish ones on the metals. And I will adjust a little bit the back side, just a little bit with soft brush, make it more depth there. Maybe a little bit here too. Yeah, it's almost done. Now we're gonna add the gradients. I picked color from our color scheme, created the new layer and selected the gradient tool and the gradient mode, and now just push the button and you're done. Put it on the overlay, like 25-30%, you will be good. Also, you can play with different colors for the gradient. Many different colors can work great. And you go from darker part to lighter part. And now we will adjust our last step, the baked ambient. I will just give it some colors in Photoshop with color balance, pressing Ctrl B and set some colors there. And there we go, our shower is finished. Let's see how it looks in Marmoset. Hell yeah, there we go, it's our hand painted shovel. So yeah guys, I hope this tutorial been helpful for you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Thanks for watching. See you in the next videos. Bye bye.